All right. Up here in the upper left-hand side of Tal'Darim Altar is our Terran player. Currently without a team. He has tried to qualify a few different times. He's never had any success. Eliminated in the first round of WCG Korea. Will he be eliminated in the first round of Code A? It is Mujuk. And over here at the top right-hand corner of Tal'Darim Altar is our Zerg player. Recently left Team OGS and just today announced that he has joined Team Liquid. It is Liquid Zenio. And I'm curious to see what he's going to pull out this game. Just basically out-macroed and outplayed Mujuk at every turn in the last game. Yeah, Zenio, he's one of these players that he's been around in Code S for a long, long time. He's been just kind of hanging in there. He's one of those players kind of like Hongen or maybe Ensnare, I guess, that they've never really been in a position, they've never been at a level of play that they're capable of advancing far in the GSL, but they've been good enough that they've been able to stick around in Code S in the old format. And that's one of the reasons why we changed the format of the GSL, is because we had just a kind of the player pool was getting a little bit stale, because you had players like Zenio or Hongen that just managed to win one game in Code S group, or managed to win a couple games in the up and down matches, and barely stay in over and over again every season without really showing too much in the way of advancing. And so now with the new format, if you lose in the first if you're in your group, or even if you lose in the round of 16, you go down to Code A. Of course, you have to be eliminated 0-2 in your initial group to go down to the first round of Code A, and that's exactly what Zenio has done. He got eliminated in his group and went to, he went down to the up and down matches the previous season and lost down to Code A, actually. So I was thinking of the other situation. Anyway, point being, this is the last chance for Zenio. He is down in Code A now, fighting for survival, and he is one win away from taking that situation, though. And this is a little bit interesting. He's actually put his depot up here, but then building his buildings back here and making a marine. And there's the reactor going down along with the factory. Standard reactor Hellion opening. The same one that I was confused by in the previous game for some reason. Anyway, Zenio going ahead and mining some gas. Pretty standard opening for him as well. Just going for a fast expansion build. Getting those queens out, getting enough gas for the speed upgrade, and he went for the mining the gas a little bit later so he can get a couple more drones out first, and now he's going to take those drones off gas, put them on minerals again, and start up the speed upgrade. Find 8 extra gas though. And queen pops out to help dispatch these SCV. Now with the SCV gone, Zenio can decide what he wants to do. He's actually put a creep tumor at the front of his base with that queen and injected with his main. Sometimes you see Zergs will actually do the opposite, where they'll put the creep tumor here with their main queen and then use the inject on their natural queen, and so that way you can connect your bases with creep, get your bases creeped up a little bit in case of banshees later on or something like that. So you never know when you're going to need to move your queens back and forth between your bases. So if we do have a Hellion run by or something like that, or a banshees, or a situation where he's going to need to get his queens back and forth, he will not be able to very easily. This Overlord, I love this Overlord placement. Sees the front door, sees all the units coming out. Now he did place his buildings back here, so he can't quite see the buildings with that Overlord, but it's always fun when they forget that this Overlord can be here, and they put all their tech buildings right here, and you can just scout them all the time just with that. Mujuk playing a little bit defensively, protecting his expansion here. He just got those 4 Hellions out, and it's just using this for map control, and that's why this is such a standard build in Zerg versus Terran, is because, or Terran versus Zerg I should say, because the Hellions give you that map control. The Zerg player cannot really get much except for Zerglings early on, and with only Speedlings they cannot go up against 4 Hellions. There's just no way that a Zerg player can really deal with that, out in the open field, unless you go for masses of Zerglings, but then you're all in, and then if they make a couple extra Hellions, you just die. So you take map control with these Hellions, you enable yourself to stop any Zergling aggression that happens early on, and so you can secure your expansion very quickly. So that's why we see the Reactor Hellion expand becoming basically a standard recently. Zenio's got this third queen out, he's starting to creep things up, except for here, no creep there. It's got a few roaches out as well, and this has become a, well, I was going to say a standard counter, but we're seeing more of it. It's not quite the standard yet, but... Uh-oh, an Overlord just died somewhere, I think. Did you get that Overlord? Yep. Lifted a barracks up, killed the Overlord. Unless it looks like maybe the Overlord was retreating or something like that. In any case, we do see players getting roaches to counter these Hellions a little bit more often. It's a smart move to do. Roaches are so good against Hellions, and you only need to make, 4 or 5 roaches to deal with a lot of Hellions. And here's the roaches. He's made actually more than 4 or 5 roaches. He might actually he's kind of doing the opposite now, where he's going to take map control basically. Look at the creep spread of Zenio. He is just creeping the place up so well. He's got the creep tumor going over here. He keeps laying down new creep tumors with this queen. He made an extra queen specifically for that. And of course, then he can also just run. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know you guys love the production tab. I completely forgot. I apologize. Won't happen again. Anyway, he's doing really well with creep spread, getting his third base up as well. So Zenio just looks to be macroing up a storm here, just like he did in the previous game, getting his roach upgrades, which is interesting and appropriate, since we do have Mujuk again going for the mech build, going for mass Hellions, and starting to add in some tanks. And here comes the Overseer. And is it going to see anything useful? And it's funny, there's actually no Marines here to deal with this Overseer, but it's going to run away regardless. All it needed to do was check out, okay, you know what, mass Hellions? That's all I need to know. I'm going mass roaches. And that Overseer is going to go ahead and get out of dodge as well. Nope, not going to get out of dodge. It's going to die in dodge, in or around dodge. Actually, may be able to get back to the queen. Where'd the queen go? Nope, queen went back after the third base, so... that Overseer is, well, nope, he stops giving chase. Never mind. Upgraded Overlord speed is a nice touch there, because that means that he is going to be able to run those Overlords away from Vikings and what have you. Now here's the thing though. Does that tip off Mujuk that he's getting roach drops? Because normally you don't see that Overlord speed so early. And, we saw him do drops before. And usually if you're going to go for drops, you want to get the speed upgrade for the Overlords as well, because otherwise they're just way too slow and they will die before they can actually reach their drop location. So I wonder if he's going to kind of catch on to that. A lot of roaches mounting up here as well. Banelings morphing in addition, and there is a huge roach drop loading up. Lots of Overlords full of roaches. He does have more roaches over here as well that he could load up if he wanted to. He's got extra Overlords. He could very well do that. Is Mujuk going to be able to deal with these? He's got a couple of Vikings out on the map, but they are way up here at the top, whereas the roach drop looks like it's going to head into the natural, and these Vikings are nowhere nearby, and of course there's not even enough of them to deal with this anyway. The Thors are on the way. The first Thor is on the way, but it is not going to be there in time. Here comes a giant roach drop. Is this going to be the end of Mujuk's Code A run? It's his first time in Code A, and he might lose right now. Roaches barreling in the front, as well as being dropped all over the tanks. Banelings just for good measure, and indeed, Mujuk GG's, as the roaches overrun his entire base from all angles, as well as the Zerglings. So OGS, formerly OGS, sorry about that, Liquid Zenio is going to go ahead and stay alive in Code A and advance to round number 2 of the Code A tournament with a quick 2-0 victory. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0 so far today. And yeah, so we're going to be going on pretty soon here. Very open and shut case there for Zenio and Mujuk. Mujuk just basically not quite at the level. I'm talking about how Zenio is not quite at the level of the top Code S players in order to advance. Well, Mujuk doesn't appear to be quite at that level either. Of the Code A. I mean, he got into Code A. It's extremely tough to get in. but he's going to have to pick up his skills a little bit. He's going to be able to actually succeed in Code, assuming he qualifies again another season. So that is going to do it for Zenio versus Mujuk. We're going to take another quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just a few. Make sure go ahead and watch over at Doa and Wolf casting on the primary stream for the next few minutes while we get the next games set up. It is going to be Bomber versus Hope Torture. Yes, Bomber, former champion of MLG, very extremely strong player, is down in Code A, didn't do very well in the up and down matches at all. So here he is in Code A, and he's going to be playing against Hope Torture, who a lot of people thought was washed up and was not going to play again, but he has actually managed to qualify for Code A once again, so it's going to be a very interesting match. We're going to get back to that in just about 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere.